Donald Trump and his legal team have repeatedly denied buying the silence of two women who have claimed to have had affairs with him. But the Wall Street Journal reports he played a key role in arranging hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels and former Playboy model Karen McDougal, and may have violated campaign finance laws. Earlier, my colleague Don Daler spoke with Nelson Cunningham, a former federal prosecutor in the Southern District of New York under Rudy Giuliani. Don started by asking about the significance of this development.
Well, first of all, it's a fascinating piece for two or three reasons. The first is the prosecutors of the case apparently have evidence directly tying then-candidate Trump to payments made by the National Enquirer and by Michael Cohen to the two women, Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels. The prosecutors appear to have direct, both testimonial and documentary evidence. That's highly significant. First of all, the president has repeatedly said that did not happen. Other witnesses have repeatedly said, both not under oath and we would imagine under oath before grand juries, that that did not happen. So you're setting up a case for false statements or perjury of the president and others. Third, because it's campaign related and because these payments were in support of arguably of the president's reelection campaign, after all, paying off women so that the news doesn't upend your campaign has been interpreted as a campaign contribution, and this would be in violation of campaign finance laws. There's one final point that's very important here.
Okay.
This is not Robert Mueller's investigation.
Right.
This investigation is from the Southern District of New York, my old office, the federal prosecutors in New York. They report up the chain at Department of Justice. They do not report to Special Counsel Mueller. So this is a parallel investigation.
Well, it's interesting because one of the challenges for the prosecutors here is the fact that hush money payments are not in and of themselves illegal. It has to be, he had to be willfully knowledgeable about that violating those campaign laws, correct? I mean, that had to be to save or to help his campaign.
Well, first of all, that would be one of the federal violations that could be involved. Second, making false statements in a federal matter, and the president has repeatedly denied being involved in these payments, except
that doesn't have
very
to be under oath, correct?
That does not have to be under oath. And that does not have the same state of mind, because we're not talking about the underlying payment. Rather, we're talking about lying about it after the fact.
Okay. Well, based on what we heard from his former attorney, Michael Cohen, does this development come as a surprise?
No, but what this shows is that the prosecutors are taking it very seriously. They're pursuing the leads. They're gathering the evidence. It looks as though someone at the Department of Justice in New York is looking at this seriously as one of the potential suite of charges that could be brought against any number of people, perhaps including Mr. Trump.
You had a fascinating piece last month in Politico where you examined whether Special Counsel Robert Mueller has subpoenaed the president. What do you think? Well, of course, it's hard to know from the outside, but there are some court records in a sealed case in the District of Columbia that came to light almost accidentally. Politico, and I have to give them the credit here, Politico stationed somebody sitting in the clerk's office on a day when a filing was to be made, and they heard the word special counsel, perked up their ears, and gathered enough evidence from which we can now conclude. It's a little bit like a Rosetta Stone, right, that helps us understand these sealed court documents. Helps us conclude that there is secret litigation going on in Washington, D.C. between a witness and the special counsel's office. This litigation has bounced back and forth from the district court to the Court of Appeals. It's been set on an accelerated briefing schedule. Those of us who follow appellate matters, and I used to be an appellate lawyer, can interpret this and understand this is a high-value witness. There are serious legal questions
being posed here. The judges are taking this extremely serious, and it's on a briefing schedule that has papers filed this week, by the way, just one day after the midterm elections, and is going to have an argument in mid-December. There's one more fact that made me conclude that this could involve the president. Do you remember back in August, mid-August, it was actually August 15th, Rudy Giuliani said on air, "We're just completing our opposition to a subpoena motion from the special counsel." August 15th. Do you know when this action was filed in the district court? August 16th.
Wow.
Coincidence? Maybe.
Earlier this week, the president replaced Attorney General Jeff Sessions with Matthew Whitaker. Now, Whitaker has been an outspoken critic of the special counsel. Could he do anything to stop the investigation at this point? This is the question that everybody is asking right now.
Well, as a matter of law, absolutely he could. Until his appointment on Wednesday, Jeff Sessions' firing and his appointment on Wednesday, the person overseeing Mueller's investigation was Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, because the Attorney General had been recused. With the new acting Attorney General, he has indicated through spokespeople or through sources that he would not consider himself recused. So the Attorney General, the acting Attorney General, is now directly supervising Robert Mueller's investigation. Rod Rosenstein is out, and there's a new boss that Mueller must report to. That new boss, the acting Attorney General, can direct the scope of the investigation, can limit the scope of the investigation, can disagree with the special counsel, can order the special counsel to take action or not to take action, and of course could fire the special counsel. That's a pretty breathtaking change in just a few days.
Nelson Cunningham, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.